It's Rocklahoma 2007. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's 2025. And we're here with Mike Tramp, one of our longest tenured guests here on the Road to Rock. And Mike, we're still friends after all these years. That means that we've had some memories here.
Yeah, and I know you got a bit confused because I look the same as I did in 2007.
And you do. It's not fair. And there is something about that. I feel like it's a scandal, not just Denmark where you're from, but Swedes, people from Finland, Norway. I'm just throwing you all into the Scandinavian. You're all just got good genetics or something. And yeah, I wish
we don't put chlorine in our water.
That would do it. That would absolutely do it. Well, Mike, here you are. It's 18 years later. You said you were just looking out at the main stage here, kind of reminiscing about 2007, where you played here for the first time.
Well, to start with, I'm just feeling incredible fortunate. I mean, listen, next year I have 50th anniversary. I've been in rock and roll that long, and to be able to come back to a festival that has obviously grown and grown and grown, and now basically represents music from 3 to 4 decades. It's just great to be part of music that stands up to the system and say, we're not ready to lay down.
And that's because you think about some of the bands that were there on that first Rocklahoma, and most of which are no longer touring. Some have passed away. I mean, that's rock and roll. I mean, to still be out here and still be amongst those still standing,
yeah,
that means a lot.
Yeah, it does. Who would have thought? I mean, this is a hazard job we're doing. So you got to wear helmets and knee pads from time to time.
You're going to be over here at the DEB Roadhouse stage tomorrow night. So you're here early and you're just hanging out. You said you're watching Tom Morello. It's a great lineup. You get to just kind of hang out for a day.
I think it's important. I mean, listen, there was a time when you were just hanging out backstage and waiting for your showtime. I came in from New York and I'm walking around on the festival and just seeing that rock and roll in its shape and form and all different kinds of styles are still alive and kicking.
That's what keeps me here. Thank goodness. Hope that never ends. We got to talk about the new album, Songs of White Lion, Volume 3. To be able to delve into the White Lion catalog and to do these now 3 albums and to be able to kind of do some deeper cuts like Cherokee, In the City, and you get to do the Radar Love again. To be able to do these 3 albums, like what's that meant to you to kind of revisit this catalog?
Well, it means a lot to go back to something and think about when you did it the first time, it was brand new to you. When you go back and revisit it in that way, you have the memories of all the years you played the songs. And so you approach the songs with so much knowledge and experience. A lot of these songs, when I sang them first time in the studio, there was a lyric sheet in front of me. There was a red light saying record, and I was, quite stiff. Now you go back and you just have all these years where you've listened and played these songs and even been absent from them I haven't played Cherokee since 1986. And also I wanted, now that I was going to go back and revisit and playing White Lion songs live again, I wanted them to have a natural refurbishment. It had to have a lift. I mean, we are, after all, in 2025, not in 1987. And,
damn it.
And things... and the sound has changed a little.
And that is reflected by it's like I said, when Rocklahoma started, it was Twisted Sister, it was Cinderella, it was you guys, it was Quiet Riot, it was Rat and Poison. Now, I mean, you had Marilyn Manson last night, you had Alice Cooper last night, you got 3 Days Grace here, Tom Morello tomorrow, you got bands like Dirty Honey that are up and coming. You've got Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. I mean, it's all over the map, and I think that's what's really cool, to be able to have all these genres. That's what's great about rock and roll to me, is that they all kind of really come together in the end.
Well, there actually was a time when you go back and look at some of the classic rock and roll posters from the early 70s, instead of going 60s, let's just go early 70s, that had that mixture, that it wasn't 7 bands in a row in black leather with studs. Now, especially, in my case, I'm from Europe, and a lot of the festivals are really mixed music.
Yep.
So it's really to celebrate the music. I mean, there are some dedicated hard rock festivals, but just like a mixed playlist, it's really nice when there is a different band after another band that's not sounding the same, that's not doing the same. So I mean, I really appreciate that, and I hope that the rock and roll fans love the diversity.
When we first connected, Mike, you were literally in a car and you were driving around the country, and you were playing a lot of acoustic shows around that time. You did a couple of acoustic albums too. And just what was that experience like? I mean, it was surreal to see you just pull up. It was at the Scene Rock Bar in Kansas City. And I remember you just like pulled up, you had your guitar in a case, you came out, we did an interview. And what was that like for you?
You're talking
doing
about
that?
98.
This was like 2015.
Okay. And that tour, because I obviously started in 98 doing that. I mean, in lack of better words or lack of better stories, when you are lost, going back to where you started, there's a lot of answers right there. And it's like, when you try to put an IKEA, bookshelf together, and you say, I can do this without the manual, and then you do, and then you end up going back and starting all over.
That's great.
All of the songs that I've written, including the White Lion songs that I wrote with Vito, started on the acoustic guitar, and that's like the bread and butter. It's like there's nothing more to it than that. When a song works in that format, it'll work in almost any electric format after that. So once in a while, it's kind of like resetting your computer or your modem. It just needs to get rid of all the stuff you have built up, and you need to go back to default and just find yourself. And those, I did 8 solo tours from 2012 to 2020, right before COVID set in. And they were some of the greatest years of my life. I got to visit a lot of antique malls. I was like the musical version of American Pickers. I got to meet all the fans because I was selling the T-shirts and the CDs and the LPs myself after the show. And that really just told me who I really am. And I always knew that I was much better with my feet on the ground than too high. And
you've had your son play with you. You have your you've done the acoustic stuff. You've done stripped down versions, and now to be able to have the full band renditions and to have someone like a Marcus Nand play on the album, and then a Jerry Best to play with you in the live settings, and to really, these songs are so timeless.
Which happens to be 2 guys that I've known for 32 years.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Brothers. I mean, if you have that ability, it doesn't always work in every band. The history of bands. To play with your best friends and to share the music and look at each other on stage and know and feeling that connection, that's pretty close to heaven.
And to see the reaction. I mean, you guys have played an extensive tour this summer.
We played Rocklahoma.
Yeah, here we are. And like that, to know that those songs, I think I remember in 2005 is the first time I remember. I think you played Bang Your Head Festival, and to see the reaction.
You really do know your history and appreciate that.
That those songs were getting, and it's on YouTube now. It's like amazing. I mean, it was 50,000 people in the crowd.
That was the first time I revisited White Lion since '91.
Right.
So that was the first time coming back, and that was a bit strange because I had to find myself, and regardless of that, we had some good shows. I was still searching, and to me, it almost wasn't long enough apart from it. And with all the solo tours and all the acoustic shows and stuff like that, it's kind of made me hungry again for playing these old songs.
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows, that the Songs of White Lion Volume 3 is out now. You can get it from your website, MikeTrampOfficial.com. And I love this idea. Plus, now you've got whole new versions of these songs that can be licensed for film and television and stuff, right?
Please.
Hey, that doesn't hurt.
I'll take it all.
I remember when Stephen Pearcy did that for some Rat songs that wound up being used in The Wrestler, and like what a great deal that was, because it was a big movie, and like he did I'm Insane and maybe Round and Round, and it was like,
I remember exactly. It says, okay, who plays that song right there? That's a good choice.
And Taylor Swift re-recorded hers and called them Taylor's versions. So now we got Mike's versions, we can call it.
We're taking back what is ours.
And I hate to bring it up, Mike. I know you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. I was going to talk a little football with you if you don't mind. You just traded away Micah Parsons. And are the Cowboys ever going to get back to, the 90s
Well,
dynasty.
I got to tell you this. I'm not one of these experts that sits Monday morning on the radio and with all the statistics coming from Europe and have grown up with soccer being, the biggest sport in the world. We don't have statistics. The only statistics are the goals. How many goals are scored?
Exactly.
How many goals have you let in? The amount of statistics are in the 4 American major sports: basketball, hockey, baseball, stuff like that. It's just amazing. It's like a world in itself. My son was born on the night the Dallas Cowboys won the last Super Bowl.
Oh wow!
So
in '95, or it would have been '96. Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's insane. And so it's been since then, but maybe coming up soon.
Well, that's a song called "Stand by Your Man" or "Stand by Your Team," and it's just the way it is. I love the sport, and I'll watch any good game. It's as simple as that.
I remember talking to you before, and you always talked about Elvis being such an influence on you.
My mom asked my dad to leave when I was about 5, 6 years old. I have no really memory, but I have the memory of that she threw that damn alarm clock out the window, and every morning we were woken up to either Elvis, Johnny Cash live from Folsom Prison, or Roy Orbison. And then later on, she introduced Dylan. And that is my bread and butter. I grew up as a campfire guitar player. And I've really not evolved from that. So basically, I always believed in that if you can entertain the rest of your class, meaning 25, 13-year-olds along a campfire, I learned that they didn't want to hear guitar intros or drum solos. They just want to hear songs that they sing along to. So most of my songs have always written with those ingredients in mind.
And that's why they still adhere to this day. I feel like the big choruses, the verses that are just so infectious. And I think that's what drew me to your genre of music, is that the 80s, and I'm 41, I was born in 1984, but the memories I have of being little and seeing these big bands on MTV, I was driven to visual presentations. Yeah. Alice Cooper and Kiss and bands that were larger than life, and you were one of those. It just seemed like that's not a band that I could ever sit here and talk with. You're not a real, because you were really good looking and still are. All the good looking frontmen like you.
And it doesn't hurt if you can sing too.
There's that. Thank goodness you still have that. Well, Mike, thanks so much for stopping by here at Rocklahoma. It's like a homecoming. It's a reunion. Wow. And every time I get a chance, I started this podcast in 2013. You were our first guest, and you called me on the phone while you were driving around the country and did a first interview, and now here we are. You're now my last guest as well. Hopefully not the literal last guest.
No, we're not exactly. We're planning to keep going, both of us.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much. Catch you on the DB Roadhouse stage on Sunday at Rocklahoma. You're the best, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Kick ass.